Let's talk about our hometown team that
This
may
is
or
the
may
part
not
I've
be a
been waiting
fan
for.
of.
I feel dirty.
Actually, no.
dirty.
Let me not say that. Let me ask you, Andrew, who do you think the best dynasty in baseball has been of all time?
Well, I mean, if you really look at the Oakland A's, but no. I mean, okay. The question is which Yankee dynasty is the best of all time?
Yeah.
And I think it's a toss-up between the 50s Yankees and the 90s Yankees. 50s, you had them winning. You had, DiMaggio, Mantle, Berra. You had so many greats on that team. They won basically every World Series of the 50s. But another thing I hinted at earlier, in the 90s, there was a lot more competition. There's more teams to compete with in the 90s. You had interleague play going on. And so I think if you maybe took the 90s Yankees and put them in the 50s, they probably would have seen as much success, if not more.
I will only disagree with that point that you're making there, only because the sport was completely different. A guy like Derek Jeter would never have played the sport of baseball back then. He would have been pushed out from a standpoint of physicality, from a standpoint of not having the ability to lead a team necessarily with that attitude of being the nice guy.
You think so?
You couldn't be a nice guy in baseball then.
I mean,
I think Jeter's adjustable, though.
Jeter is a fantastic ball player and a fantastic leader for his era.
I mean, if you watch some of those old dives into home,
the Yankees of the '90s is probably the best dynasty. I hate to say it because I am a Mets fan through and through.
As am I.
But I think there are 28 World Series total. If I'm not mistaken, 27. It's 28 too many.
It's all over the stadium and all over signs of New York.
They have one last
well-deserved.
They have one last shot. If they don't win the World Series this year, this will be the first decade since the 1910s that the Yankees have not won a World Series.
Which is an incredible stat.
It doesn't seem like they haven't won it in 10 years. It does not seem like that, right? The Sabat,
they're always. I don't think they've had I don't think they've had a sub 500 season in like 25 years, something like that. Even when the fans talk about how bad they are.
I was just going to say, the greedy
it's like
fans.
they won 88 games and missed the playoffs by half a game. Just clean house.
They're used to a certain level of success, the fans of the Yankees, and rightfully so. They've put together great teams. They've had great success, and so they should reap the rewards.
Great success.
Great
I
success.
like you.
Yeah.
Now we haven't yet mentioned the Murderers Row Yankees of the 20s.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
you were alive during then.
Oh, yes.
A lot of experience.
Lou Gehrig.
Yeah, you have, like 6 straight legendary power hitters going one after another.
But I would make the same argument about how many teams were in the league at that time.
That's true.
So,
that's why I feel it's a toss-up between 50s and 90s, but I think we need to at least give.
But we can
mention.
all agree that it's the Yankees and no other team. I mean, just think about any other franchise in baseball that would be close. What would you say?
If you look at the Big Red Machine of the 80s, no, it doesn't.
I was gonna say yes. You cannot say that any dynasty is near the Yankees, but if I could just relate it to current dynasties, the 2 that are honorable mention are the the 3. The St. Louis Cardinals, the San Francisco Giants, and now the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
3 or 4 in the
If they kept that even year streak going for one more, it would have been, I think that would have been dynasty level for them.
I think the Giants had it. I think the Cardinals definitely did, with a measure of success that came out of nowhere, and they continued to build it, predicated on pitching and playing the
Great
game
organization.
of baseball.
There's certain organizations like the general managers. They kind of snap their fingers and magic
picture.
happens. The Red Sox,
the Cardinals, Red Sox, and Yankees. They're always going to be in the picture because they have good ownership. They have good farm systems.
You saw that with the Cubs when Theo Epstein left from Boston and moved on over there. He had the same success. It's about the culture that you bring. A guy like Steinbrenner brought a certain culture to the Yankees, which said, we are going to win, and I don't care how we do it, how much money it's going to be. And Jerry Krause for the Bulls, another one. You know, Robert Kraft for the Patriots. Another one. It starts at the top. It starts with your owner. It starts with your general manager.
Now the Atlanta Braves could have cemented themselves
That staff was insane.
if they won, what, 15 straight division titles and only one World Series?
Look, I don't like to talk about
And that's
that as a
why
Met
they're
fan.
I want to add one.
and that's why they're a footnote in this conversation.
I want to add one quick bonus question to
Okay.
this debate before we move on to the last sport. Most clutch pitcher of all time. Give me just two. Just
Wow.
give me a name.
Mariano
Bum.
Rivera.
Mad
That's
Bum.
what I was thinking. Yeah,
Mar-
those are the
Mariano
top two.
Rivera.
And Josh Beckett. We'll put in there, too.
100. The first player to get inducted into the Hall of Fame with
More
100%.
men have walked on the moon than have scored on Mariano Rivera in the postseason. That's
.70 ERA.
Trust me, I tried. Couldn't get there.